Good evening. What's the Ghana Learning Channel's news in capsule for Thursday, December 2, 2021? I am Kingsley Bryan. Here's a look at some of the top stories we will be covering this evening. We'll tell you first that Ghana is recognized for their social support, given to citizens to offset hardships of the pandemic. Then, Ministry of Education and Ministry of Health collaborate to render support with a donation of wheelchairs to special needs students. And 500 house lots being developed in charity to serve for residential, commercial, and industrial purposes. And in news from the region, we'll tell you that Jamaica's tourism minister elected to Sitor to serve as the new chairman of the committee. And on the international scene, strides made in replacing drives with DNA, as scientists confirm advances in use of DNA for storage. And now for the news in detail. Guyana has been cited as one of the leading countries in the Caribbean and Latin America that have been rendering support to their people through the hardships associated with the COVID-19 pandemic. This is according to a study conducted by the World Bank titled An Uneven Recovery, Taking the Pulse of Latin America and the Caribbean Following the Pandemic. This aspect of the study considered 24 countries. It shows that Guyana follows closely behind El Salvador and Bolivia, which distributed transfers to more than 80% of households. Guyana is recorded as having made transfers to just under 80% of households. The World Bank noted that help was pertinent for households as food insecurity threatened many. Caribbean countries such as Haiti, Jamaica, Dominica, St. Lucia, Guyana, and Belize face particularly worrisome levels of food insecurity, according to the report. Assistance disbursed to Guyanese include a COVID-19 cash grant of $25,000 per household, totaling $7.5 billion to families across all administrative regions. All public sector employees received a one-off payment of $25,000 in December 2020, totaling $2 billion. In August 2021, the government announced measures to provide a one-off grant of $25,000 to old-age pensioners, public assistance recipients, and persons living with disabilities, benefiting some 90,000 persons to the tune of $2.2 billion. It also purchased $200 million in electricity credits for the most vulnerable households. The Because We Care Cash grant was restored and increased to $19,000 and extended to private school children, amounting to an injection of $3.6 billion to help them get back to school. The government also assisted farmers and households affected by the May-June floods to the tune of $7.8 billion. Meanwhile, the Ministries of Education and Health teamed up on Wednesday to provide assistance to several students with special needs. The duo provided wheelchairs in an attempt to ensure that students who are differently abled can continue to educate and elevate themselves. The initiative was executed to mark International Day of Persons with Disabilities, which will be observed on Friday, December 3rd, 2021. Under the theme, Leadership and Participation of Persons with Disabilities Towards an Inclusive, Accessible, and Sustainable Post-COVID-19 World. The wheelchairs were given to 3 students from Regions 5, 2, and 10, who were identified via outreaches by the Regional Special Education Needs, Disability, and Diagnostic Center. This facility is staffed with persons from both the Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Health, and is located in the compound of the Cyril Potter College of Education's Turkine campus. A total of 500 lots are being developed in the new charity housing scheme, Region 2. 400 of these lots will be allocated for homeowners, and the remaining 100 is to be used for commercial and industrial purposes. Senior Minister in the Office of the President, Dr. Ashney Singh, on Sunday visited the scheme to have a first-hand look at the area. He relayed that the government's housing program has been exceptional, with thousands of young people being able to become homeowners. This, he said, can be seen by examining communities such as La Parfaite Harmony on the west bank of Demerara and Diamond Grove on the east bank. Dr. Singh said government has implemented a number of measures to incentivize home ownership and home construction. These include the removal of value-added tax on construction material, increasing of the ceiling for low-income loans, increased ceiling on mortgages by the New Building Society, and increasing the ceiling for loan eligible for mortgage interest relief. He noted that those measures are geared at making home ownership affordable for the ordinary Guyanese. Regional Chairperson Ms. Vilma De Silva said that land preparation has already commenced despite the inclement weather. She noted that the region is maximizing periods of favorable weather. To date, the Ministry of Housing and Water has distributed over 9,000 house lots countrywide. The commitment by the PPPC administration is to deliver 50,000 house lots by the end of its first term in office. And turn our attention to the world of sports. Guyanese Breweries Incorporated on Wednesday announced its support of the Royal Tony 3x3 Classic, which is set for February 19 to 20, 2022 at the Cliff Anderson Sports Hall, or CASH. The 16-team tournament will carry a first-place prize of US $3,000 and will be launched on December 10 at the Cliff Anderson Sports Hall on Homestretch Avenue. Mackerson was the tournament's title sponsor in 2019, which was held at the Burnham Basketball Court, and saw Pitbulls 2.0 cashing in on the event's $1,500 US first place winner prize. Singh confirmed that Guyana's Breweries Inc. partnership will go beyond the event in February 2022. He said, "We are looking at supporting the sport at the court root level in Guyana." Tournament organizer Royal Tony expressed his gratitude to Singh and the company for showing faith not only in the tournament but also in basketball's shortest format in Guyana. Tony said while all the details related to the tournament will be given on December 10th at the event's launching, he was happy to point to the strong interest of teams from the Caribbean, particularly Trinidad and Tobago, St. Lucia, and Suriname. And that story was extracted and modified from the Guyana Chronicle. And in news from the region, Jamaica's Tourism Minister, Edmund Bartlett, was on Tuesday elected by acclamation as the new chairman of the Organization of American States' Inter-American Committee on Tourism, or CITUR, C-I-T-U-R, during a meeting of the Integral Council for Development. Open quote, "I am very happy to have been chosen for this very important role, which will help move the tourism industry forward during this ongoing pandemic. I thank the members for their faith in me and look forward to continuing the process of working with each member state in the months to come," said Bartlett. "I pledge to enhance engagement with all delegations to guarantee that the Americas areas not only survives but thrives in the post-pandemic era and beyond." In his acceptance remarks, he also urged the region to not accept what was or not what is, but what must be, to address the pandemic's difficulties and heal and thrive. This attitude, he said, will allow the Americas to have a strong tourism sector, which will provide more jobs and economic well-being for its citizens. Bartlett urged the member states to work together for the recovery and future of tourism, emphasizing the need for innovation and investment in priority products and people. He also complimented his vice chairs from Ecuador and Paraguay. Latin America, the Caribbean, Canada, and the United States are all members of CITUR, which is regarded as the most prestigious tourism organization in the Americas. The meeting took place in Madrid, Spain, on the sidelines of the ongoing United Nations World Tourism Organization's General Assembly, which Minister Bartlett is also actively participating in. And that story was extracted and modified from Loop Caribbean News. And on the international scene, scientists say they have made a major step forward in efforts to store information as molecules of DNA, which are more compact and long-lasting than other options. The magnetic hard drives we currently use to store computer data can take up lots of space, and they have to be replaced over time. Using life's preferred storage medium to back up our precious data would allow vast amounts of information to be archived in tiny molecules. The data would also last thousands of years, according to scientists. A team in Atlanta, Georgia in the US has now developed a chip that they say could improve on existing forms of DNA storage by a factor of 100. Open quote, the density of features in our new chip is approximately 100 times higher than current commercial devices, Nicholas Guise, senior research scientist at Georgia Tech Research Institute, said to the BBC. So once we add all the control electronics, which is what we're doing over the next year of the program, we expect something like a 100-time improvement over existing technology for DNA data storage, he added. The technology works by growing unique strands of DNA one building block at a time. These building blocks are known as bases, four distinct chemical units that make up the DNA molecule. They are adenine, cytosine, guanine, and thymine. The bases can then be used to encode information in a way that's analogous to the strings of ones and zeros, binary code, that can carry data in traditional computing. There are different potential ways to store this information in DNA. For example, a 0 in binary code could be represented by the bases adenine or cytosine, and a 1 might be represented by guanine or thymine. Alternatively, a 1 and 0 could be mapped to just 2 or 4 of the bases. Scientists have said that, if formatted in DNA, every movie ever made could fit inside a volume smaller than a sugar cube. And that's so it was extracted and modified from CNN. And that's our news broadcast for Thursday, December 2, 2021. Please join us for a rebroadcast tomorrow morning. On behalf of myself and technical teams, thanks for watching. Please stay tuned to our regular programming, and please remember to observe all the necessary precautionary methods to fight off COVID-19. And do get vaccinated. It's the only safe and healthy way to fight the virus. Have a good evening.